Thanks for tuning in to the Women's Vibrancy Code, a podcast dedicated to helping women move from exhausted to energized, balance their hormones, and feeling turned on by their life, their lover, and themselves. I'm your host, Maraya Brown. I'm a Yale and functional medicine trained women's health expert, midwife, mom, keynote speaker, and self-made entrepreneur. I'm the founder of my signature program, the Women's Vibrancy Code. So sit back, relax, and let's chat about your energy, hormones, libido, and embracing your feminine power. Oh, and you might want to have pen and paper to take some notes on some of these episodes. How do I get out of stinking thinking? I would like for you to think of someone that you're grateful for. Think of a living person in your life right now that you haven't shared enough gratitude for recently. Okay. So you're in stinking thinking, you're noticing yourself, you're going, okay, I'm going to stay in a place of curiosity. How's my sleep? How's my hydration? How's my nutrition? Where am I in my moon cycle or my menstrual cycle? Right. So we have that. Now let's start going, okay, I feel grateful for my body. I feel my body. I feel my breath. Now take it outside. Think of someone, a living person. I actually want you to, if you're on your phone watching this, grab out pen and paper, find a way to write something down. Okay. And think about someone that you're grateful for. You would really miss them if they were gone. And write down the things you're grateful about them. Okay, I'm just going to give you a few minutes. Write down, just brain dump. If you're watching this on the computer and you have your phone, or you have a way to type it out in the notes on your phone, or write it down on a piece of paper. Person that's living and the things that you feel grateful about them. Because here's the deal. When we notice ourselves, we need to change our state. We need to change the state. So sometimes that just simply thinking about something that we're grateful for, right? Sometimes that's feeling our body, checking in. Sometimes it's getting up and moving to another room, putting on some music that brings us alive. And so right now we're just going to move into somebody that you're grateful for and the things that you're grateful for about that person. Write them down. Okay. They're so giving. They're selfless. The things that they've taught you, right? The way that they make you feel, the memories that you have with this individual. Just to acknowledge, you go back to Maraya Brown and she says joy is one of the most vulnerable emotions that we can feel. And particularly as moms, when we worry about our children, we love them so much and we feel that joy, and it's a really vulnerable feeling. And so often in the moments of joy, we will dress rehearse tragedy. We will think of the worst. And we just get to catch ourselves and go, that doesn't serve me. The universe knows one's word, and that's yes. So whatever thought forms are coming out of me, the universe says yes, and that's not what I want to manifest. Next step is we get to really feel, okay? So gratitude unshared is like giving a gift unwrapped. So to increase the value of a thought, I'm going to actually have you share this with the person. Okay, so right now, I want you to grab your phone and prepare a text message to the person. Hi, whatever the person's name is. I was thinking about you today, and I don't think I tell you enough how thankful I am for you. Here are some things I thought about. And if you've been typing that out, I want you to copy and paste and send it. If you are writing it down on a piece of paper, I want you to take a photo of it. And I want you to send it right now. I have shared this gratitude with the person, right? Because research shows that when you do this exercise, your happiness, just thinking it and writing it down, your happiness goes up by about 4%. Sharing it with someone else goes up to 19% increase in our happiness. Because now we're sharing it. We love to serve, right? So we're taking it from a thought to a feeling. We're allowing ourselves to feel it, and we're allowing the other person to receive it. And there's a lot of power in being able to receive, and there's a lot of power in being able to give. So don't worry about how it's received, particularly if you're someone who maybe, like for me, if it's my dad, I feel really anxious. How is he going to respond? Because often, however he responds, I have a pattern of really feeling little and not loved. And so I just go, no, I'm not going to worry about how it's received. Every human being wants to feel appreciated, right? Every human being wants to feel safe and certain and connected, right? So we get to change our state. We get to act in generosity. So how do I get out of stinking thinking? Okay, first, take an awareness of your body. Okay, where in my body do I feel this? Do I feel it in my throat? Am I not speaking my voice? Do I feel it in my heart? Does it relate to giving and receiving love? Do I feel it in my stomach? Is it my core sense of safety or my emotions? Where do you feel it? What is it that you feel? And then take account. Am I well fed? Am I hydrated? Did I get sleep? Where am I in my menstrual cycle or my moon cycle? Okay. Here I am in curiosity. And what is it that I'm feeling? So I acknowledge where in my body it is. What do I feel? Do I feel fear? Do I feel love? Does it feel clenching, pinching, burning, like butterflies? What is it that I feel? And then we go to gratitude. What am I grateful for? I'm grateful for my eyes, they see. I'm grateful for my ears, they hear. I'm grateful for this person and I'm going to share with this person, right? We can change our state. Oh, I'm catching myself in the stinking thing and I know the universe knows one word. I know this is not serving me. What can I do? I can do some jumping jacks. I can do some body movement. I can put on some music. We get curious. We be in a place of self-awareness. We allow ourselves to take a pause and say, where in my body am I feeling this? And what am I feeling? This week, as an example, I got a notification from Facebook saying it was Saturday morning, and Facebook sent me a notification saying that I was against community standards and I had 24 hours and my entire Facebook account was being taken down. And I have a dear friend and colleague that this happened to a couple months ago and she lost everything. She lost her Facebook groups and she lost it all. And I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And I realized there's not a lot that I can do in this scenario. I submitted the appeal and I figured out a way to download all of the Facebook stuff. Cause then I started feeling sad. Like, oh my God, I've had Facebook since 2008 and all the Facebook lives that I've done, like documenting my kids and they're dancing and they're little and photos from the honeymoon and the wedding. And am I going to lose all of that? And I had a massage booked that morning. I'm like, okay, I just need to cancel massage. I need to I'm just going to hunker down all day and focus. And I went, Is that what serves me? Right now, more than ever, my energy needs to feel grounded and solid. So I went and got the massage anyway, right? So like the whole time I'm getting the massage, I just stayed in gratitude. And was I focused so much on gratitude that I didn't allow myself to acknowledge and feel the fearful feelings? Where in my body did I feel those? I felt it in my stomach, like a fluttering feeling. If my Facebook is taken down, does that impact my business's livelihood and my ability to provide for my family? I felt it tight in my throat when I thought about the sadness of losing memories with my children and all the unknown, the feeling of like, is there really freedom of speech? And so I just allowed myself to acknowledge where in my body do I feel it? What is the feeling? And how can I shed love, feelings of love in those areas? So then think of a time when you weren't in stinking thinking. Think of a time and a place and a person where you felt totally loved. For me, I think about my grandmother. I feel totally loved. I feel 100% accepted. There's been that consistency for me since the day I was born. And I know that that's feelings of love. So then I just caress those areas of my body that are nuanced with fear, and I replace them with feelings of love. Okay? So we can always do our due diligence to flip the switch, right? What can I think of that's loving? What can I think of that's grateful? And allow yourself to feel when you're in more fear, where in your body do you feel it? And what is it? Is it clenching? Is it stabbing? Is it pinching? Is it squeezing? What is the feeling? And then you get to go, oh, okay. So that's what fear is for me. That's what scarcity is for me. That's what resentment is for me. This is where I generally feel it in my body. It's in my chest and it's heavy, right? Okay. So down the road, when you're in the midst of something and you're at the grocery store and you see an individual and you feel a feeling of heaviness on your chest, you know, oh, I know that feeling. That's fear. And I don't know why I'm feeling fear right now, but I know the feeling and I'm going to honor it. And I'm going to acknowledge it. And I'm also right now going to think of something that in my heart makes me feel love. Person, a place. Oh my gosh, there's so much to be grateful for. Feeling your body and feeling your senses and feeling grateful for your sight and your hearing and your touch and your taste and your feeling. And can you find something that feels loving and allow yourself to feel it in your chest? So what is a time, place, person where you felt love in your chest and it felt light? And think of that. Find that. Can you speak to it? Can you speak to that heaviness? Let her know she's okay. Give her a big hug. Hold her. And let her know that whatever fear came up when you were a kid, it created heaviness on your heart because something within you that has happened before and is being triggered. So there's some part of you when you were a little girl, maybe even past life, if you believe in past life, where there was a heaviness in your chest that was associated with fear. And you get to say to her, it's okay. It all worked out okay. We're safe. And it's okay. And you get to tell her, it's okay. You're safe. You're loved. And then just once again, notice, what do I feel? Where do I feel it? And this practice, hopefully over time, we just simply get to grow in our self-awareness. That's where I feel it. Oh, that's what I feel. Where can I go to gratitude? Where can I be at self-assessment? Okay, here I am in this place, this old pattern, this old feeling of heaviness in my heart that comes from fear from some time ago is being triggered right now because of this interaction with this individual. And I'm going to shed light and love in that same part of my body. And go, all right, maybe I didn't get enough sleep. Maybe I overdid on caffeine. Maybe I overdid it and did too much last minute and didn't really feel ready for this trip. And it's okay. I'm going to give myself some grace. And I'm going to actively shift the gaze. Can I focus on something different? Can I allow myself to simply feel joy without dress rehearsing tragedy? Can I allow myself to release others and trust that they have their own path? And life is not happening to me. It's happening for me and by me. And it is the same for them. But I allowed myself to go, what is the feeling? And where in my body is it? And let me just acknowledge that for a little. And then shed some love on it. And luckily my Facebook didn't get shut down. Maybe it was a scam. So I changed my password. Whatever it was, I'm still here. And, life happens. We get to feel fear. We get to feel pain, but hopefully we just turn it around. Change the gaze. How can I shed love on this? How can I turn love on this? And what does that feel like? And where in my body do I feel that? I'm going to keep going with one other thing that I think is helpful in this same vein. And that's Byron Katie's The Work. So the book is called Loving What Is, and it's the 4 questions that can change your life, called The Work. Let me just take you through the 4 questions. Once again, you're going to want to write them down and release that. So the work I think of as a place to become even more aware of the stories. We're just telling ourselves stories, right? And some stories we have a certain emotional reaction to. Other stories we have a different emotional reaction to. Okay. So just, if you're going to do the work, there's 4 questions, and it's kind of like, really, it's kind of 6 steps. So step number 1 is write down your judgments about this stressful situation in your life. And it could be past, present, or future. And it's really important if you're listening, and you have to write it down. I don't want you to just think about it because it doesn't work. Your mind will play tricks on you and move faster. You have to actually write it down. So write down the story that's running through you. The one that causes pain, anger, resentment, sadness. He doesn't love me. He's late. I feel really judged by that person. I am afraid of being seen. I am afraid I think he's going to make bad decisions. Whatever it is that creates turmoil within you, write it down. It helps me kind of navigate it. But if not, you can just be in your own process. You're just going to write it down. What's the judgment? In the book, some of the examples she gives, she says, you're either attaching to your thoughts or inquiring. There's no other choice. Something about how you want someone to change. I want him to give me his full attention. He doesn't listen to me. He shouldn't watch so much television. He needs to change. If he doesn't change, this isn't going to work, whatever it may be. So the examples of just like these moments where you find yourself in judgment. So write it down. What is the judgment? What is the judgment in sharing your scenario? Okay. Now, step number 2, hopefully that's enough time. Step number 2, is it true? Is it true? Is it true that XYZ? Is it true that he makes bad choices? Is it true that he's not safe? Is it true that while you're gone, he can't handle it himself? Is it true that whatever the judgment is, just ask yourself, is it true? And one of the things that Byron highlights is, she says, when you think about whose business it is, it's only 3 things. It's either my business, your business, or God's business. There's only 3 businesses. My business, the other person's business, your business, or God's business. So when we find ourselves blaming someone else, making our feelings about someone else's action something that they need to change, something that they're doing, we're making the business theirs when really it's our business that we need to be focused on. So when you think about this judgment that you're having, or these thoughts that you're having, is it true? Okay, so that's step 2. Step 3 is, can you absolutely know that it's true? Can you absolutely know that it's true? Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. Sometimes what you might label as bad choices are actually good choices for him because they've taken him to where he is today. Now, I get to take responsibility for our emotional response to those choices and our judgment of the choices being bad or good. Right. So no, we can't say that it's absolutely true. Can I absolutely know that it's true? No. So write down the judgment. Is it true? Can you absolutely know it's true? Number 4 is, how do you react? What happens when you think thought? Okay, so today you were thinking that thought and it sent you into stinking thinking. And instead it's sending you down in a spiral of stinking thinking. And is that serving you? So to be in self-awareness, how am I reacting? What happens when I think that thought? What do I feel in my body? Where do I feel it in my body? So is it true? Can I absolutely know that it's true? How do I react? What happens when I think that thought? And then the next one is, who would I be without the thought? Who would I be without the thought? If I wasn't thinking he makes bad choices, which was sending me into stinking thinking, and I'm feeling heaviness on my heart. If instead I chose a different story and I didn't think those thoughts, who would I be without the thoughts? And then the last piece is we turn it around as an opportunity for self-reflection. So rather than saying, I feel judgmental towards my son because he makes bad choices, what if you turn it around and say, I feel judgmental towards myself because I make bad choices? Or I don't like myself because I make bad choices. Because generally, when we feel triggered by another individual, and it's sending us into stinking thinking and fearful parts of our personality that we feel in our body, it's really that we're judging that part of ourselves. So allow yourself to get quiet with, when have I judged myself thinking that I made bad choices? And were they really bad choices? Does it really serve me to continue to judge myself in that way and feel so triggered by my son? Or can you say to yourself, I made some choices. I made some choices that I learned from, and they weren't bad. And I don't need to judge myself anymore for making those choices. And I don't need to feel triggered by the choices my son will make because he makes his own. And I want to feel good. I want to feel grateful. I want to feel proud of the choices that I make. I want to trust what God has in store for me. And that life is happening for me and by me. Yeah, I feel judgmental to myself for making bad choices. Yeah. And that's okay. Don't judge yourself for being judgmental for yourself for making bad choices. We just get to go, yeah, here I am again. I'm judging myself. This week in my therapy session with Michael, I found myself feeling critical, and I kind of went through the same practice. What were the words? I can tell you exactly what it was. I got to the point where I realized I felt I'm journaling so much because I'm writing a book. I was judging him for being serious, critical, perturbed, and short-tempered. And when I allowed myself to turn that back on me, that really the reason I was feeling triggered is because I was judging the parts of myself that are serious, critical, perturbed, and short-tempered. Then it's not about Michael. Not about our marriage. It's likely about something that happened way before I even met Michael. And it comes back to deep judgment that I have for myself in moments when I feel serious or critical or perturbed or short-tempered. And in the midst of the marriage, he offered an amazing opportunity for me to feel that judgment again and feel triggered and to acknowledge what I do. For me in that scenario, I feel afraid and I want to hide. And so I put up my self-preservation mechanism. The walls go up. I got it. Don't need your help. Boom. Talk to the hand. And that's what has served me since childhood. Because when I experienced anyone who was serious or critical or perturbed or short-tempered, it was scary for me. I wanted to hide. Right. So it's not about your son. In that scenario, it wasn't about Michael. It had nothing to do with his thoughts around how I took the laundry off of the bed or how I took the pillows off the bed and how I changed the toilet paper rolls and the smell of my B vitamins, my liquid B vitamins. It really was nothing about that. It was about me acknowledging there are parts of me where I'm feeling really judgmental of moments where I felt serious, critical, perturbed, and short-tempered. And in this scenario, you have the awesome, esteemed privilege of saying, okay, where do I judge myself? For choices that I have deemed as bad. And what if instead I change the story and I actually see them as good? And I stop judging them. And I take a break from judging myself. Right? And then poof, there goes the stinking thinking. Helpful? It's good. It's important. Good work. But Byron Katie calls it the work. And we get to take deep breaths. And tomorrow and the next week and the next month and the next year, we find ourselves, oh, there I am again. There I am again, pointing some finger, feeling triggered by someone else, where I find myself spiraling in stinking thinking. I allow myself to be curious. I allow myself to check in. How have I been treating myself? How's my sleep? Have I eaten? Am I well hydrated? Have I set boundaries? Where in my body do I feel this? Can I replace it with feelings of love and self-awareness? And then do the work. Is this true? Can I know that it's absolutely true? And what are the thoughts that I think when I'm in it? And what if instead these thoughts are really about me? And what an amazing opportunity to look in the mirror and say, hi, me. I love you. You're doing a really good job. And it's okay. You get tough stinking thinking sometimes. And you didn't make bad choices. You've made all the perfect decisions and choices with the information that you had and the experience and wisdom that you had. And it's brought you to where you are right now. And you've done a great job. And you're going to keep making choices. And they will continue to serve you. Take a breath. Let it go. Any heavy energy that's left in your body, just send it down. You get to send it down to the earth. It's a gift. Wherever you are right now, give your heavy energy a gift to the earth. Give it to the plants where you are. The earth takes it up, knows exactly what to do with it. Cultivates it, digests it, and turns into life-giving energy so that you can breathe in the air and look at the beauty and eat those life-giving plants that are produced from the plant. Yeah. So I referenced 2 books. The Byron Katie, the work is called Loving What Is, 4 Questions That Can Change Your Life. That's Loving What Is. I'm sure you can also look it up in podcasts and just Google it. It's called The Work. And then I referenced this book, Seat of the Soul, Gary Zukov. This idea of we're either in love or we're in fear. And love always wins. So anytime we're in stinking thinking, resentment, pain, when I notice I'm in fear, what do I do with it? When I notice I feel it in this part of my body, what do I do with it? If I want to spend more of my life feeling love, how do I do that? They're great questions. Everybody's awesome. Ta-ta for now.